Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Heroes Wrestling, and as you can see, Santa Hero is here today. So I got one question for you. Have you been naughty or nice this Christmas season? Well, you can just check your stockings, because right now what's in your stocking is December to Dismember, so that should answer your question. Let's get into the review.
It will be a December to Dismember.
WWE ECW's December to Dismember took place in 2006 in Augusta, Georgia. We have Joey Styles and Taz on commentary, so at least we'll have some good commentary for this one. The story going into this pay-per-view is one match. Literally one match. That's the only thing that was really booked for this show. And that match is the ECW Extreme Elimination Chamber. The only difference with an Extreme Elimination Chamber is that there is a weapon in each one of the pods. There's a table in one, there's a chair in another, barbed wire bat, and a crowbar. And that will be our main event. But let's go for the undercard right now. In our opening match, we get M&M, who are returning as a tag team. Joey Mercury, Johnny Nitro, Melina, of course. And they're facing off against the Hardys, so neither of these teams are ECW exclusive at this point. I'm pretty positive. So off the bat, I thought this could be the show stealer match of the night. I like M&M. I really like the Hardys. Who doesn't, really? The Hardys are amazing, right? But it's a bit of a slow start. The Hardys just work Mercury's left arm for the majority of the beginning of the match. Then Nitro tags in, and then they just work his left arm. Jeff has an interesting move where they have the arm. Matt Hardy's got the arm lock. Jeff jumps over the ropes and kicks him directly in the shoulder. We get the Hardy Boys wheelbarrow slam. I guess that's what you're going to call it. I don't think they ever gave a name to it. It's a nice looking tag team move, though. We get a "She's a Crack Whore" chant from the crowd, which prompts Melina to do this.
Nice offense now by M&M.
Matt Hardy hits a nice crossbomb on Johnny Nitro, only for a 2 though. Melina distracting the ref, which gets Matt Hardy's attention. Matt Hardy decides to go to the outside and chase her. He gets hit by a clothesline from Joey Mercury, so Eminem's able to take advantage. We then get a "She's got herpes" chant. What a great crowd to start off tonight. Melina gets a nice leg scissors choke on Matt Hardy, which gives us some horny Taz commentary.
Very unfortunate for Matt Hardy. Yeah, that would, well, maybe not that unfortunate. I mean, who would want to get head scissored by Melina? Hello?
Someone needs to go out there and bonk him on the head. Matt Hardy reverses a double suplex into a double neck breaker, but M&M able to get to their feet first and stop Matt from making the tag. M&M then decide to do the poetry on motion on Matt Hardy, a little insult to injury right there. They try to throw one more into it. They try to go for the twist of fate and the swanton bomb. Matt Hardy able to reverse and shove Mercury into the ropes, which knocks Nitro off the top rope. Matt able to make his hot tag. Jeff comes in, clears house. Matt Hardy able to get Joey Mercury to the outside of the ring. Hits a vaulting body press, but Joey Mercury pretty much reverses into a spine buster, it looks like. I don't think that was supposed to happen, but it looked pretty nasty. Nitro then with his own suicide dive, taking out both Mercury and Matt Hardy. Jeff then off the top rope takes out absolutely everybody. Go back to Melina, who pulls off a nice slap and then flips off the crowd.
Field goal like kick by Melina.
M&M with a nice backbreaker into a nice slingshot elbow. Jeff able to reverse the double team catapult into the turnbuckle, runs with the ropes, hits the Whisper in the Wind, and takes out both members of M&M. This time it's Matt Hardy's hot tag as he gets back into the match, hits 2 side effects. Hardy's looking for a top right powerbomb, but Joey Mercury able to save it, and Johnny Nitro hits a Frankensteiner. Hardy's then able to hit a stereo suplexes from one corner to the other. Melina then once again distracts the referee, but this time, as she's distracting the referee, Johnny Nitro tries to take advantage, but ends up kicking Melina in the face. A snapshot by M&M, but Matt Hardy able to break it up. M&M decides they gotta pull out all the stops. They go for a top rope snapshot this time, but that gets reversed into 2 twists of fate off the top rope. Matt then stacks up M&M, swanton bomb by Jeff, 1, 2, and 3, and that is your opening match. It was a long one. It was like 20 plus minutes. That's what it felt like anyways. Might have been a bit shorter than that, but it felt good to be like 20-minute match at least. I was hoping for a bit more. It seemed, I don't want to say it was sloppy, but I was expecting a quicker pace. And like I've said, this is all the way back in 2006, so wrestling has changed a lot since 2006. A lot quicker pace now. That's what people want to see, right? And just with the 2 teams, I thought that's what we were going to get. It was more so, your standard tag team match, which I don't have any problems with. I just wanted a bit more from these 2, and I think 3 stars is fine. It's a good match. I don't have any issues with it. I just wanted a bit more, and I was expecting a bit more is all. So from there, we might as well just jump right to the main event. Really, we should, but we're not going to because the rest of this card is pretty lackluster. We show off an ECW.com exclusive with RVD, which I thought was weird. Remember when the websites were their own little thing? That's where people would post things. RVD just essentially saying he'll risk whatever, his entire body, just to win the ECW championship tonight. That's pretty much all this interview is about. Our next match at ECW December to Dismember is Matt Striker, the former high school teacher, I believe he was, versus Balls Mahoney. So at least there's an ECW original in this match. Striker then says tonight's match will be an Extreme Rules match, which gets a nice pop from the crowd. Only to ruin it and say an extremely enforced rules match, which I thought was great. I like Matt Striker's gimmick. It made sense for the new brand at ECW that he's like, the straight and narrow guy, but he cheats to win. It's a good gimmick to have. So anyways, this will be a Striker's rules match. No eye gouging, no going to the top rope, so on and so forth. On Striker's trunks, he's got his own face on his ass, which leads Joey Styles to say this.
Gotta wonder about a man who wants to sit on his own face, Seth.
So anyways, we'll just continue on with this match, shall we? Balls Mahoney is a leapfrog over Matt Striker, which leaves Matt aghast. He has no idea what happened. Balls then goes shoulder first into the steel post, and essentially Striker just works the left arm from here on out. Striker uses the hair to pull Balls Mahoney down, which is an illegal move, but the referee doesn't quite see it. Balls then hits a side slam after fighting off of all the arm work that Matt Striker's been doing. Decides to go to the top rope, which is a no-no, so the referee's telling him you can't go off the top rope. As he's doing that, Matt Striker goes to the rope, shakes it, balls themselves. We get a nice back body toss by Balls Mahoney, which leads Taz to say this.
Striker landed right on his hip and on his own facey ass.
Then Balls hits a sit-out spine buster and wins the match. It came out of nowhere. I thought for sure Matt Striker was going to win this match, or at least like Balls would lose via, either Matt was going to win by, taking advantage of his own rules and cheating to win, or Balls was going to lose because he did something wrong, and then beat up Matt at the end of it, Matt Striker. So neither of those things happened. He just lost clean in the middle of the match, which I thought was a very odd booking decision. Balls Mahoney goes up over Matt Striker, I guess. Not really anything great about this match. Not the worst thing I've ever seen. I'm going to say ones and zeros for really special occasions. So this is just a 2-star, basic match. Nothing wrong with it. Just nothing great. It refers backstage segment, and it's Sabu, and he's laid the fuck out. And not because he's high on heroin or anything. He just got beat up by somebody. The crowd is not happy with it. They are chanting bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. They want to see an ECW original in this ECW Extreme Elimination Chamber match. But that there goes that idea. Sabu is out of this match. Our next match is the Elijah Experience. Elijah Burke and Sylvestre Turkay, remember him? Versus the full-blooded Italians, Little Guido and Tony Mamaluke. Elijah has a very dumb line at the beginning of this match.
But like a wild animal in heat, we will leave our mark.
Elijah then wrestles down Guido as this match starts and has a little bit of a cocky strut to it. Guido then able to return the favor and also steals Elijah's hat, which I thought was pretty funny. Then hits him with a nice arm drag after that. Turkay gets into this match. This guy's supposed to be an MMA god, and he's not. You can tell by the way he moves. Goes for a splash in the corner, eats the corner. He's able to catch Guido's cross body. Tony comes into the ring, eats a boot, which I thought was great. And then he launches Guido to the outside. Tony catches him. That was a nice little spot in this match. Here comes another one of Taz's great commentary right here.
Those things in his hair, Burke. What is that? They're like beads? What are juju beads? What are those things?
Beats.
They're beads, Taz. They're beats. Like what? Elijah Burke with his running double knees into the corner that hits a nice STO. The FBI trying to take care of Sylvestre Turkay. They double drop kick him in the knees. He goes to the outside. Guido looks for a baseball slide. Turkay just throws him away. Mama Luke gets up onto the ropes trying to stop Turkay, but eats a fist to the face. Elijah with the stroke. I can't get away from this move. It's in every pay-per-view we watched so far. The damn stroke picks up the victory. The Elijah Experience apparently is what it's called. I don't remember ever using that move, but apparently he did. Turkay comes back into the ring. He hits the muscle buster on Guido, which leaves one fan to yell, TNA! in the crowd, which I thought was pretty funny. These are the kind of matches that we're getting. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know why they just didn't have some ECW originals go at it. Leave some of the old fans happy. You're in Augusta, Georgia, so you're not in like Philly or something or New York where they'd be like, super, super aggressive. You could tell there was some old school ECW fans in there hoping to get what they wanted, out of ECW. And this isn't an ECW show at all. Like there's no Extreme Rules matches. It just doesn't feel like an ECW show, which isn't surprising. It's WWE ECW, right? So I was going to give this one a 1 star, but I'm going to bump it up to a 2 just because Guido bumps his ass off for pretty much the entire match for Sylvestre Turkay and makes him actually look decent. We move on to our next match. And this is going to be a good one because here comes the great Khali. I was going to say the F word. I decided against it. But thankfully, he's not the one wrestling tonight. Actually, it is Davari who is wrestling. Potentially a decent match. He's facing off against Tommy Dreamer. There's an ECW original, but of course, this isn't an ECW Extreme Rules match. It's just a basic wrestling match. Davari able to baseball slide Tommy Dreamer on the outside of the ring. Dreamer, though, throws Davari head first into the barricade with a nice little splat noise.
Elimination Chamber tonight. Oh!
Dreamer's starting to rock and roll inside the ring, but Kali's able to pull the rope down, and Dreamer eats shit on the outside. Face plants pretty hard. Kali gets ejected from the ref, and for some reason, Kali just says, all right, I'm going to leave, instead of just being a big man and scaring the ref. Davari works a rest hold for a good, 5 minutes. Tommy Dreamer with a nice scoop slam into a plant and then into the reverse DDT. Love that move. Davari goes for a top rope crossbody, but Dreamer just moves out of the way and Davari eats shit. Dreamer sets up Davari for the Tree of Woe and then hits him with a flying drop kick. Dreamer then sets up for the Dreamer DDT and gets rolled up and pinned. 1, 2, 3. Of course, Davari was using the tights, but what the heck? I don't understand the show at all. What were they trying to do with it? Were they trying to piss off ECW fans? Were they trying to build there was no? I'm pretty positive there's no feud between Davari and Tommy Dreamer going into this. They didn't mention it once, so I'm assuming there wasn't. Davari runs away from Dreamer after this because Dreamer's chasing him. Of course, Dreamer runs into the Great Khali backstage, comes out to the ramp, and Khali bomb onto the steel ramp, which looked pretty devastating. No give on that one. So once again, I'm a 1 star. Literally, this show is not great. It's not the best thing I've ever seen, that's for sure. Paul Heyman's backstage looking for a replacement for Sabu and ends up finding Buzz Lightyear Hardcore Holly. Look at his gear. Seriously, tell me that's not Buzz Lightyear inspired. What a nerd. So a little backstory on this one. Hardcore Holly was apparently supposed to be in the Elimination Chamber match beforehand, but Bobby Lashley took his spot by signing the contract, I guess by beating people up and signing the contract, which gave Bobby Lashley the chance to get into this match. The Hardcore Holly, Test, and Big Show are all Paul Heyman's guys. He wants the title on Big Show. Those are his muscle. And then he's got the 2 idiots in the headgear that come out, security guys. So it's all a ruse. They took out Sabu so they could get Hardcore Holly back into this match. Apparently they didn't, but that's what obviously is what happened. So Hardcore Holly will be the final competitor in the Elimination Chamber match later tonight. You guys ready for some intergender tag team wrestling? We got Mike Knox, who still has a great theme song, and Kelly, because they were such a great couple, facing off against Kevin Thorne and Ariel. So before this match starts, Kelly wishes CM Punk good luck in his Extreme Elimination Chamber match tonight, which is why are you with somebody? The whole gimmick between Mike Knox and Kelly, Mike Knox is supposed to be this abusive boyfriend type thing, or at least just super protective, I guess, but for the most part he's just kind of pulling her around and not letting her show her boobs to people. It doesn't seem like a terrible person. Obviously they're not right for each other, but I don't really see too much wrong from what I remember anyways from back in the day. This girl's clearly into another guy and you're still dating her for some reason, so you're a bit of an idiot. Fucking cuck Knox is more like it. Let's just talk about the big fat elephant in the room, which is no longer fat or an elephant, but it's a big ass is what I'm talking about, because Ariel's in this match and her butt is on just full display for everybody and everybody loves it. We'll get into that when we get to it, though. Just thought I'd bring it up before we start this little review. So Kevin Thorne hits Mike Knox with a nice short arm clothesline. Knox returns the favor with a pump kick of his own. And here comes the horny crowd, because every time Ariel is yelling and leaning over the ropes, because she's a tiny girl, she's got to step on the rope and lean over to get words of encouragement to her boyfriend, her vampire boyfriend. Her ass is completely on display. So every time she does that, you can hear the crowd go, woo! Yeah! Which is very distracting and hilarious at the same time, but I don't blame them because the in-ring product is not great at this point. Ariel eventually does tag into this match. The crowd's loving every second of it. Kelly gets into the match. We get this huge fucking boot by Ariel. It's terrible. It is awful. Kelly then goes to the corner. Ariel hits her with the foot choke, so just full on display again. There's them cheeks just showing everyone. Crowd's loving it. This is the loudest they've been all show so far. Kelly eventually fights off Ariel, goes for the tag from Mike Knox. Mike Knox is like, yeah, I'm good. Jumps down. So I think this is their official split. I assume, I don't know. I can't remember. It's 2006. And then the commentators are like, how can Mike Knox do this, Kelly? It's like, how couldn't he? It doesn't make any sense. Kelly ends up getting choked like this. STF from Ariel. Ariel just puts her ass in her face. Crowd pops again. Huge for that. 1, 2, 3. The vampires win. They go into the attack after, though. Ariel's not done with Kelly. Decides to attack her. And then Sandman for the save comes out. The crowd's loving it. Smashing beers in his head. Comes in with his kendo sticks. Beats the living shit out of Kevin Thorne. 1 star. Another terrible match. What was that? 3 1-star matches in a row, technically? I guess it was the other one I gave 2, but it was a 1-star match. So that was your undercard. That was your undercard. This is legitimately a shit sandwich of the show. That's what this is. And you think about it. You have the Hardys to start, decent. And then you have the Extreme Rules match, Elimination Chamber at the bottom. 2 decent pieces of bread. And then you just got fucking vomit, shits, and earwax, I guess. Why not? We'll go with that. Eat up, boys. Oh, don't forget the booty meat. There's booty meat somewhere in that sandwich, too. We go backstage. We got a Bobby Lashley segment. And I'm just distracted because for some reason Bobby Lashley, he just looks like an alien. He looks like he just crash landed off a UFO. Like, look at his face. Tell me that doesn't look like an alien. Then we find out what the entire buildup is. If you haven't been paying attention, Lashley is essentially going after Heyman's army. He's trying to become the ECW champion. It's clear as day that Lashley is going over in this match from this buildup. Like a few weeks ago, he had a ECW championship match. He was going to win. Heyman's goons come out. Everyone beats him up. Test Big boots him. Big Show picks up the victory. Then Lashley signs his name on the contract the next week, and so on and so forth. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our main event of the evening. It's the Extreme Elimination Chamber match, featuring one ECW original. Big Show versus CM Punk, crowd favorite CM Punk, I might add. Test, Bobby Lashley, Hardcore Holly, and Rob Van Dam. Of course, we can't have an ECW main event without Paul Heyman chiming in. Heyman says he's the reason why ECW was successful, even though it went out of business, so I don't know what he's really saying. And it's no longer time for the old guard of ECW. No more Sabu's, Sandmans, and RVD. It's time for Big Show, which I thought was hilarious because he's about the same age as all those guys. During these entrances, I just can't help but, just look how awful Big Show looks. Holy hell. He is out of shape. This is one of the worst I've ever seen him before. And I remember him being bad looking in ECW. I don't remember it being this bad. He is gassed walking to the ring, man. He is so overweight. It's bad. That's why he's probably in ECW, though, let's be honest. Speaking of looking bad, Test looks like a walking steroid, which isn't too surprising, because I'm pretty sure that had a big reason of why he died. So the 2 competitors to start this match are Hardcore Holly and Rob Van Dam. RVD goes for a springboard to the outside, is able to catch himself on the cage, but then goes for the crossbody, which Holly moves out of the way, and he guts himself on the top rope. Holly goes to the top rope for some reason, though, and does a flying nothing, and hurts his legs. RVD able to capitalize on that and hits a rolling thunder from the inside of the ring to the outside of the ring, which I thought was a nice little spot. And then Hardcore Holly able to suplex RVD from the outside of the ring to the inside of the ring, which was a nice little thud on the ground. And then our first competitor from the pod comes out, and it is CM Punk. Huge reaction from the crowd when CM Punk comes in. He also has a chair. That's his weapon of choice, I guess, that they gave him. Throws his chair at Hardcore Holly, then hits his nice springboard clothesline on RVD. Decides to try to throw the chair at RVD and maybe hit him with a spinning wheel kick or something, but RVD catches it, throws it back, and hits CM Punk directly in the skull. RVD then sets up the chair in the middle of the ring and goes for the monkey flip on CM Punk in the corner, but CM Punk in his non-athletic ass isn't able to hit a monkey flip properly and just kind of rolls over RVD. Looked like shit. We get the nice RVD Jerry Lynn leg drop spot. This time it's RVD and CM Punk, of course. Chair set up in the corner. RVD gets thrown head first into it. He's busted open at this point. And CM Punk kicks the chair back into his face, which is pretty brutal looking. Hardcore Holly then sets up CM Punk for a top rope superplex, and all 3 men are down. Our next pod opens, and it is Test and his crowbar of all weapons. Nothing scarier than a roid rage son of a bitch in a crowbar, I tell you that much. Takes out CM Punk with it the second he gets in, then starts digging the tips of the crowbar into RVD's open wound, which is just disgusting looking. RVD then able to get the chair and able to crack everyone with it. Finds CM Punk in the corner, drop kicks the chair directly into his face. Then hits Punk with the 5-star, pretty much halfway across the ring. Hell of a jump for the 1, 2, 3, and CM Punk is the first one eliminated. Doing him dirty since day one, eh, WWE? Totally over with the fans. But nah, let's get rid of him first. I thought that was a bit odd, a bit strange, but that is what it is. Of course, leading up to this, Paul Heyman was really behind Punk. He wanted, apparently, Punk to eliminate Big Show, start them off one-on-one and to tap out Big Show to really, cement him as, a guy. But obviously, WWE went the opposite direction, had him be eliminated first. Test then has RVD laid out in front of him. He's telling him to get up. He's going to big boot him. And then he big boots Hardcore Holly. He just straight up murdered Hardcore Holly and pinned him. Pinned him, I don't know, because the ref, he didn't really count to 3. I don't know what happened, but he said he was eliminated. It was very odd. There was also zero reaction to that. The crowd didn't even care. Like, oh, you know, they turned on each other. No one gave a shit. They were just like, oh, all right, I guess. RVD then lays out Test and looks like he's going to go to the top rope, try to go for a 5-star frog splash. But of course, he goes up to the top of the pod where Big Show is. So Big Show just kind of grabs his leg and is able to toss him off. Test then puts the steel chair over RVD's face and goes to the top of the pod. He's on Big Show's pod, and a big ass elbow drop from the top of the pod onto the head of RVD. And this is the best spot of the night. I have no idea how they pulled this spot off without killing RVD. I'm not sure what happened after the match. He might have been concussed to shit. But that's like a 250 plus pound man coming from the top of a pod, not the rope, and landing his full body weight essentially on top of you. It was scary. It was very scary. And of course that will eliminate RVD. So there goes you got rid of the fan favorite, and you got rid of the only ECW guy in the match. Luckily, it's Augusta, Georgia. That's all I have to say. So this leaves us to Test and Big Show versus Bobby Lashley. Obviously, Lashley's still not in the match yet. Test waiting for him to come out. Once Lashley's pod is set to open, Heyman's goons, the 2 security guards, they knock over the ref and they won't let Bobby Lashley out. So he's got to use his table to bust the top of the pod, and he escapes that way. Lashley just takes it to Test, throws him into 2 different pods. Breaks one of them. The thuds on these pods are nasty. The crowd was loving this, by the way. Lashley then, I believe, hits Test with the crowbar, then hits him with the spear, and is able to put him out of the match just like that. So down on a 1-1, Bobby Big Boy Lashley versus the Big Show. About a minute before Big Show comes out to Bobby Lashley just standing there looking like an animal, you know, ready to tear apart into his meal, throwing tables and chairs at the pod. Big Show comes out, Lashley just protecting himself with the chair, trying not to get his head caved in because Big Show has that barbed wire bat. Big Show gets the bat stuck in the chamber, which would be his downfall. Lashley throws Show through the pod, is able to beat him up inside the pod as well. As Lashley follows Big Show, he's able to choke toss him into the ring, sets up for the choke slam. That gets reversed into a DDT, and then Lashley hits the spear for a 3. And that's the match. Honestly, like, I thought, like, from what I remember, like, people shitting on this pay-per-view, and it's well worth shitting on. It's not great. I don't really think it's like the wrestler's fault by any means. It's not like there was, like, you know, matches that were supposed to be good and they were just bad. It's just not a quality pay-per-view. They just didn't really give them anything to showcase. Like this Elimination Chamber isn't terrible by any means. It's the best match of the night by far. The booking is just odd. Like, I feel like Lashley, like, he was strong, but I feel like he should have been stronger. I feel like he should have just destroyed Test, like, kind of like, you know, like, really destroyed him, like, beat him up, bloodied him, was like showing him off to Big Show. This is gonna be you next type of deal. You know, because that's what the crowd really was reacting to that. Like, he's not totally shit on throughout this entire match. Like, there's cheers, there's boos, but there's cheers, you know? From what I remember, like, Lashley was like always shit on at this point. Like, people were like, oh, fuck Lashley. Maybe it was just the internet community, like, that were pissed off about it. But I remember the boos being a lot stronger, and they really weren't. There were some people behind him. And like I said, when he was throwing Test into the pods, the crowd was loving it. So if they would have kept him like super aggressive at this point, and then have Big Show come in and he just beats the shit out of Big Show and pins him like right away, and it wasn't that long, you know, they fought for a bit. Big Show only got like 2 attacks in, so it wasn't like a huge Big Show, you know, wearing him out and Lashley coming back and winning. But I feel like if it was just quicker, it would have been like more of like a Goldberg-esque, you know, squash. It would have been cooler to see. But anyways, this is also going to be a 3-star. I don't think it's good enough for a 4. It's not one of the best Elimination Chambers. It's probably one of the worst, honestly, which isn't a bad thing. The Elimination Chambers are always fun to watch, let's be honest. Kind of hard to have a bad Elimination Chamber match. But that is ECW, or WWE ECW. I feel like I have to say that. December to Dismember. I hope you guys enjoyed this in your stockings. What'd you think of the pay-per-view down below? Feel free to leave your thoughts and opinions. What you thought of my review and all that. And honestly, if you're going to go out of your way to watch anything from this, I suggest watching the Elimination Chamber match. You don't really have to watch the Hardys M&M match. It's nothing spectacular. It's good, but it's nothing great. And if you want to watch something funny, go ahead and watch the Kelly Ariel thing, especially if you want to see some butt. It's a pretty good butt. So I hope you all enjoy your Christmas or your Hanukkah or whatever the hell you celebrate. So just enjoy it with your family or your friends, your loved ones, whoever it is. And I will catch you guys very soon for another Heroes Wrestling. So until then, La Parka wins, baby.